Before I came on the course here at Solo's Retreat, I didn't do much. I was constantly tired, achy. Um, I was quite isolated as well by the end of it, with friends kind of losing contact, um, and very much reliant on people, others that I didn't really like and wasn't, because that's not me. I'm quite an independent person. I first started to get ill in when I was in year eight, at school, and after tests and tests for all sorts of things, they finally gave me a diagnosis of post-viral fatigue syndrome. That was my GP. Um, and that was left at that. I was given no really further information, or wasn't referred to a specialist, or given anything that might help. Um, I recovered then on my own after about 5 months after that diagnosis, but then relapsed again when I was in year 10, at which point I was then referred to a paediatrician, who gave me like the diagnosis of ME. I was feeling ill for 5 months at first, when after I was first diagnosed, and then again for about another 9 months, again diagnosed. That's not including the lengthy time that it took to get a diagnosis in the first place. My worst symptoms were probably my aches and pains in the muscles and joints. I always had problems in my legs between the two periods of time that I was ill anyway. They never went away. And brain fog as well. My concentration was awful, blurred vision. My memory was probably the worst one, asking, the same question 3 times to someone, and forgetting I'd either ask them or not being able to remember the answer 3 times in a row or something like that. I wouldn't be able to I'd have to have a wheelchair if I went on long days, like outings, and but I did, every now and then, if I pushed myself too much, it wouldn't. I'd collapse. It might look to the outside person that I'd fainted, but I was still aware of everything. I could still hear everything, and if I was able to open my eyes, I could see everything as well. But I wouldn't be able to move, talk, or do anything, and that was probably when I was at my worst. When I was first diagnosed in year 8, I tried to keep up going to school. My school weren't very appreciative or understanding of my illness at that point, and despite a letter from a doctor, my mum still had phone calls saying, why isn't your daughter in? But then after I was re-diagnosed in year 10, the school had become a lot better, and they still urged me to come into the most important lessons, not necessarily the ones I enjoyed, which I think didn't help, and I don't think that's the right way to go about things. But so they pushed in ways maybe they shouldn't, but that was probably due to a lack of an understanding of what ME was, and not having have dealt with a child with ME before. Well, funnily enough, during my year 10, I was ill from September to May, and I got a letter on a Monday, the Monday before. I was starting the lightning process on the Tuesday. I got a letter on the day before saying I'd just been applied for the opportunity of getting homeschooling. So it did come a bit late, but after I'd actually done the lightning process and was better, I managed to fit in. If I had spare time or at home, I was given extra tutoring in a couple of subjects. For me, it didn't really happen gradually. It wasn't really until the end of the 3rd day where suddenly I just was like, oh, that's a bit better. But it wasn't really a gradual thing over the days for me. But then I could see others on my course were getting better day to day. You could see improvements. Probably the main one was just how positive I came out of it, and my positive attitude to everything, which had a drastic effect on, no headaches and no aches anymore, and walking up the stairs with no pain. After the lightning process, such a big change. I was doing things, straight away. I went back into school gradually, and we kind of set a couple of weeks where, do 3 days, 4 days, but by the end of the first week, I think I was back straight, I'd forgotten the timetable and was straight back into full-time school. So after the lightning process, it took a couple of days maybe to get back to 100%, but after I was there, that was it, no going back. Oh, I'm brilliant. doing anything and everything after the lightning process. I'm now in after the lightning process. I'm now in my second year of college. About to go to university in September. I'm back to doing all my dancing. Um, 3 4 times a week. Since the lightning process, I've achieved my grade 8 ballet. Also my grade 8 oboe, and I'm playing lots of piano as well. And doing performing and shows. This Christmas um, I do a pantomime every year since I was 5, and this Christmas, since I've been ill, was the first time I did the 10 shows in a week. I've always had to miss out on a couple, so that was brilliant. My social life has changed drastically to being able to actually go out with friends when they ask me. Um, I suppose, friends always ask you to go out, and when you always say no, after a while they kind of stop asking you. They just assume you can't come out anymore. So that was probably the biggest difference, and being able to go out when I want and do what I want. My family and friends think the lightning process is brilliant. I think the biggest change that people said they noticed in me was like the eyes, and everyone would said about the sparkling eyes, and that's the one thing that everyone said. At Swallows, I loved it here. It was so, they make you feel so welcome. It's so relaxing, and what can be quite daunting at a young age, coming into something completely new, was made so much easier. Linda was brilliant, so understanding, so helpful, but she's been there and done it herself, which makes a world of difference. Oh, she presented the course brilliantly, and was there to offer help and support after the lightning process as well. It's an ongoing thing. I think the lightning process is a brilliant thing, and I think it's a shame that not many people know about it and it's not given the acknowledgement it's deserved. Linda's absolutely brilliant, a wonderful person, and makes it so much. It's such a difference to have a practitioner that's so good and smiling and really believes in what she's teaching.